Hey guys, welcome back to Tokyo Bunny Gaming. So how strong are projectiles really? On the one hand, David trounced Goliath and was supposed to be a one-sided massacre, but on the other, Captain Kirk's rock throw barely tickles Gorn. So to delve into this notion, I tried out strategy game Fantasy General 2. Since I played the free version, titled Prologue, I challenged myself to the short campaign playing as Slitherine, King of the Barbarians and Rider Bears on Iron Maiden difficulty. The first battle is a basic romp through the snow, focused on capturing all enemy territories. Although there is a timer on the top right indicated by the gold bar that decreases over time, we're still encouraged to traverse the world slowly and steadily. The bar indicates when enemy forts and cities still have resources and possible volunteer units to pillage, and if we don't occupy them before the timer ends, we miss out. However, if we rush ahead, we risk not only the decimation of our army, but also the death of our hero and a premature end to our campaign.
Let's do this. Leroy Dragons!
So despite this time limit and FOMO, I proceed cautiously, keeping my units close as we march across the terrain. Terrain plays a significant role in this game. Units perform very differently depending on it. Human units move slower through forests and water, have high defense when fighting from within a castle or town, and even gain additional benefits when fighting from unique locations, such as a tower providing an increased offensive reach for my ranged units. My strategy was to march my units as a group while my hero scouted ahead and scavenged caves for items. I stationed my slingers behind my infantry since if my infantry gets attacked, my slingers will back them up with additional attacks against the enemy. Slitherine is strong enough to fight solo against the various wolves or ghosts he encounters in the wild, and unless ambushed, he will come out the victor. This first battle already shows the strength of ranged weapons, however. Eagles can only be hit by my ranged slingers, and with the additional action economy, my slingers put in the work to help my army reach victory. The second battle is one focused on traversal, the goal being to bring my army from point A to point B while managing enemy fortifications along the way. There are many ambushes along the way, so I want to move in a pack, allowing my units proper time to rest and recover health. This is another battle that is also mine to lose. While defeating enemy units is beneficial in strengthening my units, going too aggressively can also put me in a bad spot. But using forests as cover and moving as a team, I reach the end point of this battle. With the earned spoils of war, I take this time to upgrade some of my units, my most notable being transforming one of my maidens into a wolf mother, converting one of my melee units into a ranged magic unit. The third battle is another one focused on conquest. This map is quite big with two opposing factions instead of one. This means that although the enemy of my enemy could be my friend, more often it's my enemies will team up and gang up on me. The enemies are also already entrenched in their own towns and forts that I need to conquer, so I need to first scout for isolated cities with small armies to tackle before engaging with the larger ones. The biggest pain in this battle though is the flying cavalry. Only vulnerable to ranged attacks, they move fast and cannot be encircled, so cornering them for the kill can be difficult. Given the fact that they can quickly flee to rest and recover before returning to attack again, the hit and run tactics become a frequent thorn in my side. But by surrounding my enemies on all sides and peppering them with stones while my melee units defend, I take down forts and start calling myself a conqueror. Fortune favors me here by rewarding me with 3 hunter units. Our battles have already emphasized the importance of ranged units, and I get 3 additional ones for free. But then, the lizards attack. Battle 4 is my first fight against an enemy hero, Witch Doctor Hraskar. This battle is also one where many a campaign has ended in defeat. There are several big challenges with this fight. First, our forces are divided among 4 separate deployment sections, meaning my ability to fight off enemies is far weaker than in previous battles until I can regroup. Second, the terrain is terrible for my units while very favorable for my enemies. I'm fighting in a swamp covered in forests, which means my unit's traversal is compromised, while my enemy can travel quickly through the water. Third, my enemy has a wide variety of units, ranging from lizard infantry for hit and run, giant lizards to smash my units, and dragons breathing fire to decimate my army. Finally, there's Hraskar itself, the witch doctor who can attack from long range, clone itself for better action economy, and petrify my units to make them unable to act for several turns, although my units do become immune to damage as well. My first task is to regroup my army. In a group, my ranged units can back up my infantry when attacked, and the more ranged units at their back, the higher the number of retaliatory attacks. However, ranged units are weak to direct attacks and cannot retaliate against units right next to them. If there are 3 ranged units to 1 melee unit, that means there are at least 4 vulnerable spots where my ranged units can be attacked directly with minimal retaliation. I want to allocate my units so that there's an equal number of infantry and archers on both sides. Once I regroup, I then want to form my army into a wall, my infantry in the front to defend against attacks and occasionally switch out to rest and recover, while my ranged units stay in the back, shooting from safety to protect my units.
Note, Tokyo Bunny recognizes that this is a terrible strategy in real life that places people at the risk of friendly fire. This is an example of fancy video game mechanics where your soldiers never miss. Please do not rely on Tokyo Bunny for any military strategies in real life. You will lose.
Once I reconvene with all of my units, I had them sweep the map in search for the witch doctor. I move in a messy circle formation, my melee units at the perimeter and archers in the center as I slowly sweep through the unknown map. I move in this formation due to my significant terrain disadvantage. Since lizards can attack from all sides and hit my troops quickly by traveling through the water, I move slowly with my wall of infantry to fight off enemies coming from any side, as my archers can pick them off from a distance. I still need to proceed cautiously, however, because one wrong move and I can easily run into an ambush of 3 or more units ready to overwhelm my hero, leading to a quick death and reload. I finally find Hraskar, and moments later, it's 2 clones. Hraskar opens our fight with a doppelganger by its side. Not only does this clone have its own health bar and can tank several hits before disappearing, it also has the same moves as the original, allowing it to also pepper my units with ranged magic or petrify them. Furthermore, Hraskar is able to move further through the swamp water compared to my human warriors, and can even teleport short distances, making it a bit of a slog to properly corner and trap it. I try to keep my soldiers either on land or in bases for additional defense, while slowly cornering Hraskar to the northwest corner of the map. I do not want it escaping from my kill zone and resting to fully recover its health. Similar to my hero, Hraskar has an unsegmented health bar that can easily heal back to 100% if it can fully rest for 1 turn without interruption. Thus, my focus is to first encircle and trap Hraskar, getting rid of its forces while making sure mine retreat and rest as needed. As this is on normal difficulty, there aren't as many enemies and they're more willing to put themselves in precarious positions, allowing my archers to find their mark as enemies would confront my infantry units in the front lines. While I do want to target and kill the real Hraskar to end the battle quickly, the clones do have less health and getting rid of clone is still a win for my troops. I want to close in on the witch doctor, surrounding it with my soldiers and continue to pepper it with stones and arrows. With this, I was able to slowly corner Hraskar to the northwest, ready to deal the killing blow. Hraskar did still try to escape, however. It has the ability to retreat from 1 attack from my units, allowing it to bypass that unit. Hraskar used this opportunity to escape my kill zone through the left. However, since my forces erected a decent perimeter, I was able to cut off its escape and kill the witch doctor, only for it to have been revealed to have been another clone. We finally head into the final battle of this short campaign, the hunt for the witch doctor in a realm gone mad by war. I upgrade one of my hunter units into armored archers, a deadly force who will be the linchpin of my army as I enter this final battle. Unlike the previous battle, this one allows me to deploy my units in close proximity to one another, saving me the trouble of regrouping. Unfortunately, this is a big map with 3 different factions vying for power, including Hraskar and its army. In addition to dragons and lizards, I also need to face down trolls, eagles, and other armored units. Although my goal is to kill Hraskar to win this battle and end the campaign, my enemies won't make this easy. I start by hiding my army in the forest, scouting the area and planning to defeat the army of trolls to the east. This is where my new armored archers come into play. Unlike my basic hunters and slingers who can only retaliate once when my infantry is attacked, my armored archers can retaliate as many times as my infantry is attacked, which means a significant increase in both my offense and defense. With this armored unit, I can shoot far more arrows at my enemies. So I mow through the troll army and head east. However, threats are everywhere. I face off against a giant lizard roaming around the map. This monster is a tank that can hit hard, so even confronting with Ferelson with archers defending him, I'm still at risk of losing. Therefore, I gang up on the lizard with my army, showing that even a beast can be defeated with enough firepower. Capturing mana pools, I used additional mana to start summoning bears with my wolf mother, essentially gaining additional melee units that I'm not afraid to use as another means to protect my archers, and a free scout that I can send into danger without significant cost to my army. Of course, the trek to the witch doctor does not go easy. Not only do I not know where the good doctor is, I get ambushed along the way by trolls and a dragon. A little further, I run into a dispute between the red army hero and infantry with the green army's dragon. Although I want to go my merry way, I do not want either army to attack me from behind while I'm searching for the witch doctor, so I decide to join this confrontation head on. Some poor positioning on my end allows the dragon to survive and escape, while Hero Thane and his regiment gets ready to engage with my forces. To prevent the enemy from attacking first, I send in my summoned bear, only to be ambushed by the dragon and lizards again. Luckily, the dragons weren't coming to engage with me, but our common enemy, the eagles. Eliminating their eagles, I use this opening to end their hero, leveling up my own. The two dragons are a problem that I want to focus on eliminating for two reasons. 1. They hit hard, as we saw from the previous battle. 2. These dragons can move fast, so they can quickly retreat to recover before attacking again. I want them gone so I can focus my full attention on Hraskar. Unfortunately, I only eliminate one while the other escapes, but since it's being pursued by the enemy, I feel safe to let my enemies fight amongst themselves. I spent too much time on this side quest, and I want to refocus on the main objective. Leaving the dragon, I head east. I use the continued mana built up from the pools to summon more bears, now having an army which I can use to scout ahead and engage with enemies. But as I continue to travel northeast, who should appear but the dragon, ready for round 2. As I was expecting this though, I used the better terrain to my advantage and then eliminate the dragon, as well as conquer some more mana pools to continue to build up my bear army. After reaching close to the northeast edge of the map, I finally find Hraskar and his army of lizards, hiding behind castle walls. Hraskar is not as tough here, being unable to petrify my forces, although I think it can still clone itself. Regardless, I have my wolf mother continually summon bears to seize the castle walls, while my main army confronts the red army from the south. After taking out the majority of the red forces, I set my bears on the border and have them backed up by archers. My bear army is ready to strike, while my archers pepper the lizards from a safe distance. Against my bear wall, there isn't much the lizards could do. I also engage the enemy aggressively with my bears, having them delve deep into the fort aggressively because even if my bears die, I can always summon more. Thanks to conquering so many mana pools, I can summon a brand new bear every turn to send into the fort. My offensive combination of bears and archers is too overwhelming, and the lizard forces soon fall as my bear army quickly take down the units stationed there. I keep my other units stationed to the south in case another force tries to disrupt my offense. However, I relocate my archers to the castle to defend my bears while my wolf mother summons Bearmageddon. My bears make short work of the remaining lizard army and only Hraskar remains, trapped in the fort. Surrounded on all 4 fronts by bears, with many more on the horizon, in addition to 3 archer units, Hraskar can only fight and try to flee. While it made a valiant attempt, it could not escape my arrows and finally fell. So lesson learned, slings are awesome and fear the bear army. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe.